World, peace, peace, peace. I hope everything is cool with y'all. Hope the vibe is right. Hope y'all having a good day. Hope you have good energy. Hope you have a positive cipher around you. I'm in a different location today. I'm in a different location. I'm in a place called South Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, to be exact. You dig? It's kind of special place to me. Definitely did a lot of growing up here. I got a lot of roots here. My roots are all throughout the Midwest, but it's cool. It's cool to come back here and visit. My mom's here, my brothers are here, my sisters here, my nieces and nephews are here, friends are here. So it's cool to come back and connect every now and then. I'm sitting here drinking a smoothie. My mom might not be feeling the fact that I got her glass out here, but cheers. But it's cool to be out here, though. It's cool to be out here. And I just been sitting here, and while I've been here, just reflecting on my time here. My time here, my friends that I have here, the loved ones. I went to quite a few high schools while I was here, quite a few high schools, and made some really good friends, met some nice people. Um, I'm not gonna say no names. They know who they are. They know who they are. But some really colorblind people, some people who were just accepting me for who I was, and I was the only black kid in my graduating class, only black kid in my graduating class. So that was definitely a weird time for me, kind of a strange time for me. Not necessarily a hard time for me, but kind of a strange time for me. So the fact that I still have those friends and I can come back and still connect with those friends, that's a beautiful thing. That's a really beautiful thing. So as I'm here, I think about those people a lot. And but on the flip side, I met some colorblind people, but I also met a lot of racist people. I won't say a lot, but I met my fair share of racist people here. Met my fair share of racist people here. I think one time I showed up to my desk, and someone had carved a swastika into my desk, and to me, it didn't really resonate. It didn't really resonate until probably a day or two later. I realized that someone had carved a swastika into my desk. Like, think about that. Someone carved a swastika into my desk. Now, granted, I Sioux Falls, South Dakota is a majority white place. That's a fact. Um, but I never expected that I would go back to my desk and find a swastika carved in there. And so being here when I was a teenager, I definitely ran into my fair share of racism. I ran into a couple skinheads. I ran into my fair share of skinheads. Um, but it's interesting because you learn to take the good with the bad, right? You learn to take the good with the bad because amongst all that racism, I found some really good people. So I said I wasn't gonna say no names, but shout out to my man Seth McClure. Shout out to my man TJ Donovan. My man Seth McClure was very, very influential in me becoming the type of rapper that I am. Just listening to him rhyme and him being, the type of lyricist that he was and the type of artist that he was, really opened my eyes up to me. Oh, just challenging myself to do little bit better with rapping, challenging myself to do a little bit better with wordplay. You know what I'm saying? I am having a great day. I hope you're having a great day too. Love, love, love to everybody who's tuning in. Um, but yeah, so shout out to my man Seth and TJ, and the list goes on and on. Josh, and Dave O'Hane, and these guys. I said I wasn't gonna say no names, but my man Tucker and Bonnie and Bunny or Sonia and Sarah and Ian and both Ians. Yeah, this place like holds a special place for me because it was my first taste of racism when I slid out here. Like it was my first peace, Anthony, peace. It was my first taste of racism when I came out here, and I wasn't really prepared for it. Up until that time, I only seen racism on like TV. You know what I'm saying? Like the Rodney King stuff, and it was not in my world that I knew of, right? Until I slid out here, and then it became very real, became very real, and I was definitely ill prepared for it. Definitely because I was just like, oh, you're like racist, like trying to process like, oh, he really don't like black people. This dude don't like black people. I'm like, why you don't like? I didn't ask him, but I was just so curious, like, why you don't like black people? Like to me, it seems so ridiculous to me because in the Midwest, it's a lot of everybody, right? It's a lot of everybody. It's a lot of black people. It's a lot of white people. Like in the Midwest, at least at the places where I was, it was just a lot of black people, a lot of white people, a lot of Latino people. So the idea that I was around people, I was now living around people who didn't like black people was like weird to me. And I was just like not prepared for it. And I remember seeing a skinhead in my school, and that was bugged out to me, you know. So this place definitely taught me to accept the good with the bad, and that was like my first education, my first, I guess, life education. In that, I don't know if there's a definition for life education, but it was like, okay, this place got some good and this place got some bad, and I just had to learn to accept that and had to learn to deal with that, you know. The racism never got too out of hand. There was about to be a skinhead fight versus like the blacks and the Latinos, us teaming up against the skinheads at one point in time, but the police showed up, so it never really transpired into anything. But it let me know how many skinheads were in the city. Let me know how many skinheads lived here at that time, and I didn't even know that, right? I didn't even know that. I think like 22 showed up for the fight. It was like 13 of us. They had us outnumbered, but we wasn't backing down. We was just ready for the rumble, and that was my first experience with that, and it was interesting because the Latinos and the black people didn't really get along like that in the high school either, before that moment, right? For some kumbaya moment, we linked up, right? The Latinos linked up and the black people linked up together, and we were about to fight these skinheads, and after that moment, we was kind of cool after that. But other than that, it went back to what it was. You know what I'm saying? I had a couple cool friends on the Latino side that we, stayed talking. He was like, oh, this dude is aight. This dude is aight. And he was like, yo, oh, this dude is aight. You know what I'm saying? But the others just wasn't gelling right, you dig? So it was a life lesson, and people think about South Dakota and it's like, oh, the first thing they say is, there any black people there? There's a lot of black people here. In fact, probably one of the greatest lessons I learned pertaining to black people was here, in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Um, I went to high school and I met this girl named Unti, right? And she's Ethiopian. Unti is Ethiopian. She said she was African. And I was like, but mom, if you know me, if you know my mother is a light-skinned woman, a pretty light-skinned woman. And Unti was the same complexion of my mom, right? So when Unti told me she was African, I'm like, stop lying. Because my perception of Africans was what TV showed me. It's what the media showed me, right? It's what the Sally Struthers commercials showed me. It's what Roots showed me. It's what the Feed the Children Foundation showed me, right? They never showed me any thriving parts of Africa. It was only dark-skinned black people or Africans who are struggling and in poverty and not alive and thriving. So when she told me she was African, and my brother got to the school like a year before me, He was like, yeah, dog, she African. And they like confirmed that she was African. That was, to this day, I was talking to my brother about that. Like that really challenged what I thought. That really challenged what I thought about black people. It challenged what I thought I had been, it challenged what I've been taught, because I'm like, this is a light skinned African person in front of me. You know what I'm saying? And if you let history tell it, all Africans are dark skinned and poor and dirty and whatever the case may be. And that was my knowledge then, right? I take that back. That was the tricknology that I was given. The tricknology. Hate to sound all whatever, whatever, but that was the tricknology that I was given. And it when I came here, it led me to question like, oh, so they jive like lying. They really lying, because I didn't know that Africans could be in all these other shapes and like other colors and creeds and things of that nature. I didn't know that. And I think I was maybe about 14. I was like 14 or 15. And shout out to Words, Beats, and Life. My man Mazi Mutafa, man, yo, he was like, hey, I think this was like 2013 or maybe 2015. I forget what year it was. But he's like, yo, we going to South Africa. You want to come? I was like, is water wet? Do trees bark? Yeah, of course I want to come. Yo, and that was he took me to Africa, and that gave me even a bigger perspective, right? Like it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place, a powerful place, a colorful place, a bright place, a loving place, a caring place, a intelligent place, right? So I know I'm going off on a tangent, or as my man Substantial would call it, subtangent, or whatever he calls it, or whatever. But being in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I learned my first like, not my first, but it was like a real like African American lesson, black lesson, whatever you want to call it. That's what I was taught, and I figured out that all Africans weren't dark skinned, and they weren't what TV was telling me. Sally Struthers and Feed the Children, whatever was telling me, you know? So yeah, even in a random place like Sioux Falls, South Dakota, you can learn something. Even in a random place like Sioux Falls, South Dakota, you can meet some good people, you know? And even in a random place like Sioux Falls, South Dakota, you can meet some bad people, you know? But a place like this, you can learn to take the good with the bad. That's what I did. That's what I took from it, you know? That's definitely what I took from it. So it's cool to still be out here and be out here. You know, I'm out here for, I think I got another week out here. You know, my mom is happy I'm out here. My brothers and sisters are happy I'm out here. It's cool. It's weird for me to be out here, but it's cool to be out here. You know, I haven't been around them for a while. You know, I've been living in DC, and I'm very much a part of the DC scene. Um, I've been a part of the DC scene since 1997. Um, so it's definitely a different vibe as I continue to come back out here to and fro, you know. But it's a dope, it's a dope vibe, man. And I don't regret my time out. I don't regret my time out here. I look at it with fondness. I look at it with education. I look at it with love and peace, and still stay in contact with some of those people. Um, but yeah, I think even if you go to my, first of all, make sure you click and subscribe. My bad. Go click, go subscribe, go follow, and all that good stuff. And post a comment. I appreciate it. But if you ever take the time, if you go to my Instagram page, right? If you go to my Instagram page, I just posted my high school ID, one of my high school IDs. Flex Matthews is my Instagram. That's FLEXMATHEWS. That's my Instagram. And you'll see my like high school ID. One of them, I think I went to like 7 or 8 high schools. That's a story for another day. That's a story for another day. But I just posted that. It was an alternative school called Joe Foss. And I think I graduated when I was like 20, 21. That's a that's another story for another day. Well, my friends were going to school to graduate. I was just going to school to rap, and my friends graduated, and I was just like, they said, "You graduate?" And I was like, it had never really entered into my brain. Really, it was like a byproduct. It was like maybe, maybe not, maybe I guess I don't know. I'm just going, just keep going. And I was like, thought we was going to form a rap group. These Bamas went to college, and I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm out here then. You dig? So it's just a learning process, and it's just life happening. Um, but I never take none of it for granted. I take very few things for granted, whether they hurt, whether they were negative, whether they were positive. I try not to take any of it for granted. Cheers. But I definitely just try to just enjoy the moment and reflect and remember all the cool memories I had here. The first time I fell in love was out here, you know? The first time I figured out what I didn't want to be. Not what I wanted to be, but what I didn't want to be was out here. The first time I went to a club, a bar, I was out here. Um, I just learned so many lessons out here, and I'll always be grateful for it. I know, sorry if my camera's a little wobbly or whatever, it's because it's windy out here. Yeah, the sun is setting, it's getting a little dark out here. Shout out to this, my mom gave me this flannel. She's like, you want this flannel, baby? I was like, yeah, that's all right, man. I take that. That match with like this little pink hoodie I got. So, so shout out to my mom, Dukes. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I probably should go inside. I probably should go inside, but I wanted to come out here and just talk to y'all for a little bit, kind of connect with y'all, and just let y'all know where I'm at and why my background is different, and why I just appreciate where I'm at. And I'm thankful. God is good. God is good. And I'm blessed to have had my experiences out here, my time out here, my friends out here, the love out here, even the hate out here. Um, God is good, and God is in all that, and I love all of it, and I appreciate all of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and head in, but y'all be cool, y'all be safe, y'all be positive, y'all be righteous, and recognize there's a lesson in everything. You know, if there's negativity happening to you, try to find a lesson in that. If there's positivity happening to you, try to find a lesson in that. Um, if things ain't going your way, try to find a lesson in that. If things aren't going your way, if things aren't either negative or positive, but just in the middle, try to find a lesson in that. Because there really is a lesson in everything. I promise you. There's a lesson in everything. All right. Y'all stay cool. Y'all stay positive. God bless y'all. One love. Peace. Hmm. How do I get out of this? Wait, no. That's